taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, but you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic groove up.
Hello everyone, Mini Jam RC here, back in with another video, and today I'm going to be checking out these cool mini RCs which were graciously sent over by Temu, the sponsor of this video. I gotta once again thank Temu for sending all this over. We have 5 of these 1/64 scale RC alloy body off-road vehicles in a variety of color schemes. They all look pretty nice, but the orange is probably my favorite. And finally, they sent us these 2 larger 1/16 scale RC buggy style cars, in orange and in blue. Let's first check out the 1/64 scale trucks. But before we dive into the trucks, I want to let you guys know about this awesome $100 coupon bundle that you can get right now on the Temu app. It's pretty straightforward. You just scan this QR code right here to get the Temu app, download it, open it, and then enter my code KJC5959 into the search bar, giving you instant savings on not only RC products like I'm showing off in this video, but also across all other product categories on the app. Immediately after this video, remember to go to the app, use my code, or you can simply click the link in the description in order to start getting these savings right now. I had a few first initial impressions whenever I pulled these out of the boxes. The quality is surprisingly impressive. The body is metal and similar to what you'd find on a die-cast truck, which gives it a good amount of weight. This helps it feel more of like a premium product, and also I imagine helps with getting a bit of better traction whenever driving it around. In hand, it just feels a lot more quality than you would expect at this price point. The variety of color options is nice, not only just to suit your personal preferences, but if you're getting one of these for your kids or a few for your kids, then they can all have their own distinct looking trucks. They come in several variants, so I want to give you a close look at each one. Here is the orange. Here's the gray. Here's the black, here's one of the blues, and finally, here's the other blue. This is a pretty impressive assortment of colors, and I believe their website has even more options you can choose from. They also have pretty nice suspension. I spent a couple of minutes alone just checking out the body roll on these whenever I first took them out of the box. On the underside, there's even a nice little adjustment knob for the steering alignment, so over time you can make sure that it keeps going as straight as possible. There's also a USB Type-C port for charging, as well as an on-off button. These RCs are RTR, meaning you get the remote, a charging cable, and batteries all out of the box. You don't need to go and buy anything else in order to make these run once you get them in. I believe you can either get these by themselves or with an accompanying trailer that they can drag around. The trailers just reminded me so much of those old trailer races that I would see as a side act at Monster Jam back in the day. I do long for those days, but I was definitely appeased by their inclusion because of this nostalgia. When you turn them on, you'll instantly notice the lights. It has functioning headlights, taillights, and even neon. The inclusion of these not only help them look a bit more scale, but it also gives you a nice option for some nighttime racing in the dark. Just make sure you watch out for the table legs. As for performance, you get 3 speed levels, which is a positive given how small these are. You can see the light indicators on the remote. If you have it on the lowest setting, it'll be green. I believe the middle is red, and then the highest is green and red together. For an RC this small, the speed levels actually come in clutch when you just want to pull this thing out and drive it around on your desk. If you want to use a lower setting, it'll help you just get a little bit more control over it so you're not having it fly over your desk if you just want to have a little bit of fun. The fast setting is actually kind of impressive for an RC of this size. You can easily race these things across the living room floor and be entertained for a good amount of time. These are advertised as having no slip tires, and after driving them around, I would definitely agree. They get pretty impressive traction when maneuvering up these plastic ramps that I made, and if you're quick on the trigger, you can even pull off some of these classic wheelies. I didn't have any range issues when standing at one side of my house and controlling them on the other side. The reaction times for the button presses are also satisfactory. I didn't really notice any delays. The thing I love the most about these has to be the quality and performance you get at this size. Now, I don't have a ton of experience with RCs at this scale, but these things are just so satisfying. They're small enough to just throw in your backpack, purse, or even your pocket. I would even consider taking one with me while traveling just to have something fun to do in the terminal while I'm waiting for my flight. If the battery dies on you, just use a bundled USB cable to charge it for your laptop and you'll be up and running in no time. This thing is just so portable that you really have no reason not to take it with you. The one issue I did run into was the trucks would just intermittently disconnect from the remote, which was really frustrating. At first I thought maybe the battery was going dead, so I would pop them back on the charger, but I would still have the same issue. The remotes are pretty much interchangeable between each of the trucks, so I would try out another one and it would work just fine, and this really confused me. What I found out was probably the issue here, however, was the battery inside the remote was probably just losing contact with whatever metal prongs it needed to transfer electricity to. As such, the remote was losing connection with the car and resulted in some unexpected behavior. What I actually did to remedy this was just open it up. I took the battery out of the remote and then I put it back in, and I didn't have these issues. So that could be something that if you don't really know to troubleshoot that way, that could be annoying for some people. But once I did that, I didn't have any issues with the remotes disconnecting from the trucks. Here on this channel, we're known for taking our big RCs out back and running them on our scale backyard track, but doing this here with these smaller RCs on this table inside was a really nice change of pace. These little ramps that I threw together were a lot of fun to just do little laps on around the table, and honestly, I could see myself sitting down in the future and just blowing off some steam by running some laps with these. Now we're going to check out the 1/16 scale car. Out of the box, you get the car, a remote, and a couple of rechargeable batteries for the car. The remote, however, does require 2 AA batteries that are not included. Not a huge deal, but it would have been nice if you just got everything you needed right out of the box. There is also a toggle button for the lights on the remote, which is a nice touch. We have 2 variations here with the orange and the blue. Both definitely look cool. The box actually notifies that there's another blue version as well as a black version. So once again, tons of color options, which is always nice. This one sports that dune buggy type aesthetic with some off-road tires. It even has a spoiler on the back to add some extra horsepower. The functional light rack is also a nice touch. It features some suspension for the front and the rear tires. The underside has a knob for adjusting the steering alignment, just as we saw with the other smaller RCs, an on-off switch as well as a battery door. Both rechargeable batteries can actually fit in the battery bay here, so if you're on the go, it's nice that you can just load them both into the car and then connect the spare one whenever you have the original one die. This is a very nice feature because it basically means you're not ever going to be forgetting a battery, which effectively doubles up the lifespan you get on this thing. The speed is fine, but nothing overly impressive. It reacts fairly quickly to the remote inputs, much like the 1/64 scale trucks that we looked at. The biggest negative on this one has to be the steering though. The turn radius is just not very good. I can pull the remote here and you can see just how far the wheels can steer in either direction, and that's just while holding the car up. Put it on carpet and the friction lessens the amount of steering you're able to get. This is much less of an issue if you take it outside when you just have a big amount of space in order to make very wide turns, but if you're just driving this thing around the hallways in your house or on your bedroom floor, it's not super optimal. I drove this thing around the floor in my bedroom and I had to make like a 5-point turn just to get out of the corner. With a small RC like this, you really want something that's maneuverable through tight spaces, but the turning radius on this guy just does not allow for that, unfortunately. If you have the patience or the space to make the turns with this car, you'll probably like it just fine, but I can't help but feel like if the steering was just a little bit better, that would significantly improve your experience when driving this around. That's going to finish up the video today though. The 1/64 scale trucks definitely exceeded my expectations and I would recommend them as a fun little gadget to just mess around with in the house or even to travel with, or if you're someone like me, make a little course for them and race them around with your friends or family. Furthermore, I think these are awesome gifts for young kids. They're small, easy to control, and fun to play with. With their low prices, it's hard to imagine that you would regret picking a couple of these up. The steering on the 1/16 scale car though makes it hard to recommend. I can especially see a young kid struggling driving this indoors just because they don't really have the driving savvy to understand how to make the multiple point turns. If they have a big open space though, this becomes less of an issue. If you want to check these out on your own, remember that you can use either my code KJC5959 in the Temu app search bar, or click the link in the description to get the $100 coupon bundle across all product categories on the app and save money. Once again, thanks to Temu for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you all again very soon.